There's not a single Muslim I have ever met in my whole entire life, who has ever believed that 9/11 was done by Muslims. They believe it was an inside job. They believe the Jewish state, Israel, did this with America. You only matter when you speak up and you condemn the bad stuff. And sadly, I would say that a lot of people who would classify themselves as peaceful Muslims secretly support the extremists.
Why are British Muslims, of all denominations, British Muslims in this country, why are they so focused on Muslim children in foreign countries on a foreign continent, as opposed to the white Christian girl who may live a couple of doors down from on their street? Why can Muslims in this country go out every Saturday afternoon for the Free Palestine marches, and yet we've not had one Muslim march ever about the mass rape of girls or the planting of bombs, the blowing up of London Tube Station, the blowing up of Manchester Arena, the stabbings of people? Why is it always a foreign Muslim takes precedence over anybody else in this country? That one perplexes me.
I think with the pro-Palestine marches, for the majority of Muslims, it's a religious war. And apparently there have been prophecies where, about Greater Israel and the Antichrist coming, and they are brainwashed heavily. So for them, they go out there because they feel as if they just need to, support the Palestinians. And when you would challenge them on religious grounds, then they will not give you religious excuses. They will give you other excuses of how wrong it is that the Palestinians' land has been taken away. So either way, they're gonna stand their ground. The majority of people, I must say, in the pro-Palestine marches, from what I've observed, again, are non-Muslims. It's the people on the left again, right? So, and a lot of them have actually, even speaking to Paul Thorpe, it's a lot of those kind of people who are leading these marches and things in the first place. Um, and the other thing, the biggest thing about the Muslims is when you speak about the terrorist attacks, a lot of Muslims don't believe Muslims have done these attacks. They're paranoid. They feel like they're into basically conspiracy theories. Any attack that's done, the Jewish,
Are you talking about British Muslims here?
yeah, they're
Wow,
paranoid
I've not heard
generally.
this before.
They don't. I've never met a single Muslim who believes 9/11 was done by Muslims. There's not a single Muslim I have ever met in my whole entire life, who has ever believed that 9/11 was done by Muslims. They believe it was an inside job. They believe the Jewish state, Israel, did this with America. They don't accept responsibility. The same thing they say about what happened in the London bombings. And most other attacks, they say it's the Jewish state, it's them lot are trying to make Muslims look bad, and they are they're planting these people, and so the first thing is they're not accepting any responsibility at all. So because you need to accept responsibility to say, and then expect someone to actually go out and say this is wrong, but they're not even accepting the responsibility. That's the truth. They don't believe it. They're very, very paranoid. They're into conspiracy theories. And this is what I try to question them on my channel. Like, come on, you're saying Muslims do no wrong. Really? Really? Are Muslims really that perfect? Come on. So I feel like sadly this myth of peaceful Muslims, and I've spoken about this on my channel, is the peaceful Muslims don't matter actually. It's a red herring. Peaceful Muslims this, peaceful Muslims that. I mean, if you're going to be silent, you might as well not be there. Like you're as good as not being there. You only matter when you speak up and you condemn the bad stuff. And I feel like the peaceful Muslims have failed to keep their extremists in check for 1,400 plus years. Why should we expect them to get a grip on the extremists now? Right? And sadly, I would say that a lot of people who would classify themselves as peaceful Muslims secretly support the extremists. They have some kind of sympathy for this person, you know? It's not, they don't necessarily feel the anger that they should be feeling and the disgust. There would be some part of them who feels, okay, do you know what? Britain, for example, bombed Afghanistan and Iraq with America, so they deserve it, right? Even though if they think about it, they're British themselves, they're born here. But in their mind, when they're thinking of British, they're thinking of the 100 years ago British, the white British who colonized India, Pakistan, for example. They keep thinking of that image of British people, Britain, English people. And they completely forget they're born here, like they're here, they're British, they've got the citizenship. And if their parents and they were here while Britain was part of bombing Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm sorry, you're part of our country. You're part of this. You can't just, you can't just differentiate yourself very conveniently from anything bad that Britain has done while you yourself was a citizen here, right? So they keep playing these games. I do agree with the part that I do feel I do feel Britain should not interfere in the Middle East, the country that I live in and that I love. We do interfere too much. And but that doesn't mean, oh, I'm happy for people to like kill us. That's just stupid and that's ridiculous. But I do feel we do need to stop interfering because what's happening is each time we interfere in their countries and we ruin the infrastructure, those people then get an excuse to come here. And our politicians, because they don't want to end up in jail like Tony Blair after what they've done, they open the borders deliberately so that they stay out of jail. So okay, we bombed you. Now we're going to open the borders for you guys so I don't go to jail, but then this country's getting screwed up. The same thing sadly has happened in Pakistan as well, where the Pakistani citizens, they want Imran Khan, for example, as their prime minister. But it is the puppet government that America and Britain working together have put in place. Nawaz Sharif and all those people, that those people are the corrupt politicians that are doing nothing for Pakistan. So then this perpetual cycle where the Pakistanis in Britain do have a soft spot for the Pakistanis because they're thinking, do you know what? Britain and America are ruining our heritage country. They're putting puppet governments in, keep interfering in our country, and therefore we can't progress. We can't progress. They have radicalized us themselves to use us as their what do you call that term? I
Proxy
can't think of it
war.
now. Proxy wars to do the proxy wars. So it's fair game. We're gonna come here, we're gonna do whatever the hell we want. And this is the thing, there's a perpetual cycle of lots of issues. There's not one thing. And I do understand that, but that's why also when I try to speak, I do try to keep it balanced, right? As possible. But I think it's politics is a very dirty game anyway, right? And sadly, we do have politicians that are not concerned about this country, and they're not concerned about other people's countries either. I don't know what these people are doing. To be honest, I don't even know who's running the country. Like, is Keir Starmer really running the country? Do we have a deep state? Are they really pulling the strings? Like, what the hell's going on? So I think there's lots of issues that we need to address if we to sort it out properly.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to stop meddling in other people's countries. We definitely should stop invading them and bombing them and changing their leaders. We need to leave them alone, even if they get worse because we've left them alone. That's fine. Because when we involve ourselves, no one ever thanks us. We overthrow dictators. No one ever thanks us. So, and it just makes things worse for us. So we need to leave other countries alone so they can develop the way they want to develop without that interference. Completely agreed there.